Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the 9-time GSL champion, the Terran in the red, the man, the myth, the Maru. Facing off against the fastest player in the game, the Italian stallion, the Zerg in the blue. We have Reynor in a best-of-5 Terran versus Zerg showdown between two of the most accomplished players in StarCraft 2 history. But the only thing I'd like to accomplish before we get started is asking you to smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Help me counter the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,713 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As Maru starting game number 1 off in typical Maru fashion. He whips a command center first out and slaps it down and asks Reynor, what are you going to do about it? And the Overlord, such dominant behavior, clearly intimidating it, saw the command center and retreated immediately to the pervert pillar. And Reynor now has a choice. Are you going to go all in and try to punish this? Or are you just going to try to get more ahead, knowing that Maru really doesn't have any options to get aggressive? And the risk of going all in is the investment. There is no cost-effective way to break the high ground of the Terran without going all in. Whether it's roaches, ravagers, banelings, maybe even nidus. Those are all massive investments for someone who is barely mining gas at all. Has opted instead for a quick third hatchery, which you might think is quick, and then Maru back at home, of course, third CC. His entire army right now is one very brave Marine. This is the strongest Marine, this is the strongest Terran unit in the game right now. And Maru gambling that Reynor is not going to commit in game number 1 on one of the most macro-oriented maps to some crazy all-in. And sometimes when you gamble, you win and get a huge economy and a lot of extra money. Sometimes when you gamble, other things happen, but not today. Roach Warren, Lair. Suspiciously fast from Reynor, but still pumping out drones, so looks very unlikely to be anything but maybe road speed. Early Overseer. Hellions, politely yet firmly asked to leave by the Queens. And while the Terrans have a tendency to ignore or not even register social conventions, for now, they do. He knows about the healing shrine. The amount of pro players who forget that the healing shrine is there to heal up your ground units is too high. Any amount is too high, but players of this caliber should certainly use every edge available. McDonald's. Game number 1. 2 more factories on the way. Maru going for pretty much the greediest possible build. 3 command centers, a single Banshee for defense. He's getting a Raven now. 4 Hellions darting by, and Willie dives into the mineral line. Reynor gets the evolution chamber block, and now the drones might be trapped in a prison of their own design. The Hellions behind the mineral line. And 5 kills? I mean, there weren't that many drones to begin with. Definitely could have been better. Banshee in the main gets a couple more, though the Queens will angrily drive it away as well. So, not great, not terrible. Maru does buy himself a little bit more space to slap down the 3rd command center, though. And the most difficult part of going Mac is building up that early infrastructure. The sheer cost, 100 Vespene gas apiece for the factories, sets you back dramatically. Getting the production up, this is your most vulnerable time of the early mid-game. Is if Reynor hit a timing with roach speed before all these factories are up, he could get crushed. But between the Banshee and soon to be the Raven, he has an opportunity to keep him at bay, right on the edge of the creep. And, well, Reynor scouted in. He saw the factories. He saw the upgrading tech lab. He knows what this is. He might not love it, as someone who has vocally been less than enthusiastic about this sort of strategy in the past. That's how I'm going to phrase it. but clearly embracing the defense. He's not trying to work around it. Infestation pit is already on the way. +1 ranged attack in Carapace, and Maru has a Raven clearing creep. Clearly he read your YouTube comments in English that said, why don't Terrans just use a Raven to clear creep instead of scanning? Because scanning costs you minerals. Unfortunately, the Raven does suffer from one key weakness, which is you can shoot at it. So that is making things a little bit more difficult, but the Hellions driving right by, and again, almost nothing in defense. Roach speed is done, though. They'll be able to come back. Fires off a shot into the extractor, and that's going to cost him a lot of this opportunity. Half a dozen Hellions dead. 4 drones in total. Yeah. Well, that could have gone better. But again, Reynor is driven back right as he was maybe thinking about moving out, right as Roach speed was finishing. So now, the Roaches, the Cyclones lock on and are just ripping through. The Mag Field Accelerator upgrade increases the lock-on damage by 50% from 1 hecton to 50% more hectons. Meanwhile, anti-armor missile Dorito dusts the Roaches, but the fungal allows them to close the distance. And even though there's a Raven overhead, it looks like Maru's the one getting Edgar Allan Poe. As soon as they get off creep, receding so quickly though, the Hell Clones turn around and ping cushion the Roaches from afar. They will kite you literally to the ends of the earth, as Cyclones faster than Roaches marginally, and of course outrange them. Thankfully, the ends of the earth are relatively nearby, as StarCraft maps are flat and have very clear boundaries, like some people definitely need on the internet. But 3 more factories on the way. Octofact, the Ocho here from Maru. Mass Hellion Cyclone up against Roaches, Infestors, and Zerglings. Reynor is sparing no expense. He has 5 hatcheries, Neural Parasite on the way. Adrenal Glands Hive is already done. I believe Maru just scanned it. Pretty much everything across the board that these two could want, at least at this stage of the game. Again, though, the fungal anti-armor missile to counter, but the armor is not really the relevant part of this, as both the blue flame as well as the lock-on from the Cyclones are just flat damage or spell damage. So anti-armor not particularly helpful. I guess it helps with the Hellions doing splash damage, but and it makes you uncomfortable having that weird, I don't even know what it does, desynchronous molecular thingamabob. Jot that down. Another fungal. The Raven and a bunch of Hellions caught. The Zerglings get the wraparound. Nice little micro from Reynor mid-fight. But, you know, Maru's keeping up on it. This is one of the most APM intensive mech compositions, if not the most so. And keeping the pressure on is absolutely critical. Otherwise, Reynor, he could back him up against his own bases and crush the army. About that real estate we talked about. Well, there's a fusion core in production, and it could be for advanced ballistics, but I have a sneaking suspicion this is very much for Battlecruisers. Maru going for the big Battlecruiser transition after bullying Reynor around the field with this battle group of Cyclones. And he's done such a good job of keeping Reynor on his side of the map. Right up until Reynor decides to borrow a couple Cyclones and finally has the anti-air to bring down the Banshee. Hey, if you can't beat him, hire him. Hostile takeover seems to be the best option for dealing with the mass Cyclone, holding him in place and turning him against one another. The first Battlecruiser has entered production, but Maru has done such a great job of keeping Reynor busy on his side that really there's no reason for Reynor to suspect a tech transition. I guess the lack of siege tanks and the lack of more stable late game may create some suspicions, but Reynor's just upgrading +2 ranged attack, +2 melee. He's trying to solidify his position, putting together some spine crawlers at each of the bases. His creep spread has been mostly shut down despite constant efforts to put it out further. A spire has begun. So Reynor kind of checking off some of the extra boxes, grabs a few more of the Cyclones on the field. The Fungals have been very good, and they've managed to hold down the majority of the clones. But so far, Reynor holding strongly. He scouted the mechs so early, he was able to stabilize his economy and not scramble to defend. And now these infestors have multiple Fungals and more than enough for Neural Parasite. Of course, the question will be, when does Maru use the cruisers? Does he tactical dunk into the fight, or just use them as an alternate harass option? Fungals catch a few more of the Cyclones. The Raven glides out of Neural Parasite range at the very distant edge. +2 missile attacks is done. Maru's still upgrading +2 mech weapons and armor. He actually has triple armory production. He has absolutely everything right now. Yamato Cannon is completing the fight in the center of the map. A couple of the Cyclones grabbed, and Cyclones are incredibly good against Cyclones. And when the Clone Wars begin, the Terrans lose. 3 Battlecruisers at a time. Reynor still with no anti-air, but Queens, Ravagers, and whatever the Infestors want to get involved in. The Queens will be obliterated. Building armor's on the way, as Maru has most of his side of the map. Reynor doing pretty well himself, though the Battlecruisers just casually strafing out and will shut down Reynor's first attempts at an attack in the most dramatic fashion possible. Reynor's suffering from success right now. He's got money in the bank, +1 flyer attack on the way, but he has so much supply he can't build this big round of corruptors he might need to deal with the cruisers. A scan looking for the Infestors, as Neural Parasite could turn this all around. He needs Yamato Cannon or Tactical Jump before the Neural Parasite connects. The Battlecruisers, the massive elephant in the room right now. Well, a series of them. The Cyclones getting chased down by the Adrenalings. The Battlecruisers zoning things out and denying bases, but a casual zoning planetary in the middle of the map. 6 Battlecruisers. A burrowed Zergling gonna deny another base. There's 6 orbital commands as well. Reynor going mass banelings. Maru does not have much in the bank. He's getting upgrades for everything. He has double-digit command centers. But right now, he doesn't really have that iron bank of money in order to... He's not even maxed out, let alone able to rebuild. So Reynor can still play the 300 supply Zerg style, where you throw away 100 supply of army, rebuild it, and go again. And of course you have as close to 100 drones as you dare. But the Battlecruisers are operational. The Yamato Cannons are online. He's scanning to keep tabs on the Infestors. Map hacks with extra APM. Single Zerglings, but the Battlecruisers continually scanning, keeping tabs on the Infestors so he can just jump away. Fires the Yamato Cannons a full broadside, and he jumps! He doesn't quite take out the base, but the now Tactical Jump is on cooldown. It can't be used against him if he does happen to get Neural Parasited. Reynor holding these Battlecruisers down. They're very slippery for such massive creatures, like blue whales or your mother. Meanwhile, high-sec auto-tracking on the way. 4 siege tanks at a time, as he needs something that can actually deal with the Infestors directly. And Ghosts. Maru with the mass mech Terran. The Cyclones! The Transfuse, it's not enough. Reynor with 6,800 minerals, 3,200 gas. He's got to do something. Yanks in the Cyclones. Maru is starting to stabilize, and things get exponentially more difficult from here. But the fleet has been called in. There are 9 Battlecruisers to 9 Infestors. He's building Corruptors. Mass Ravagerling Bane. And Reynor is starting to dwindle. Well, he's shifting his drone count into army supply. You can't rely on rebuilding the army against this composition. By the time you rebuild another army, the Battlecruisers could have just blunked onto your base. 206 army supply, though, for Reynor. Doing a little bit of spore tricking to technically break the game in a fashion only Zergs can pull off. But the fleet just glassing another base. And now is heading to the main. The hive is vulnerable. Thankfully, not too much more tech. A pre-scan. Yamato cannons are online. The full volley. The hive is gone. The Battlecruisers will jump away as the corrosive biles rain down, hitting nothing. Raining like the tears of Zerg players when they watch Battlecruisers be more effective than they are in the campaign somehow. No bias. The scans, just then try a scan here. More scans for the Costco checkout aisle. We've got Vipers above, Infestors beneath, Ravagers in between, but the Battlecruisers are still so much to deal with. Reynor yanks in the majority of the clones. But how do you fight? The Ravagers trying to hit the corrosive biles. Reynor has money. He's got larvae. He has to rebuild his lair. Without a hive, he can't build Vipers, but the rest of his tech is still intact, it looks like. Well, unless you consume your lair by the time it becomes a hive. At this point, just turn every base into a lair. +2 flyer attack is on the way. But how do you stop this? No, that's a real question. If anyone has an answer, please provide. Like and subscribe first. A hatchery is taken out by the Cyclones and the Battlecruisers. The fleet is headed back for the main. The Corruptors are spotted on the other side of the map. How many Infestors? 7 Infestors to 9 Battlecruisers. He just scans and keeps tabs on the Infestors. Casually strafes past the main base. And that's it. Refuses to elaborate further. Takes out 6 drones and a hatchery. Meanwhile, Maru has the gold base down the center. Reynor has 200 supply and nowhere to go. If he commits to defending his main, he loses the outlying bases. If he commits to defending the outlying bases, he loses his main. The infestation pit, the spawning pool. There hasn't been a scan in a while, but he spotted the infestors. Maru not risking it, and does he need to? You could build missile turrets on the healing shrine. It doesn't heal buildings. I just learned that. I feel like I knew that before, but I just relearned it, okay? Doesn't need to. Why did I clarify? The ground army struggling. There's a Congress of Corruptors overhead. Knocks out the missile turret. The Battlecruisers all lined up. Right at the edge of the mount. I think Reynor just realized he lost his infestation pit. Maru is starting to build a bank while Reynor's dwindles. He can't force a fight. Like, you can't... This army composition is optimized for cowardice. Every single time Reynor gets anywhere close to a direct confrontation, Maru just jumps away. And the thing is, by the time that Reynor can get to the other side of the map to fight the Battlecruisers as they jump back, he's fighting interplanetaries, and the Battlecruisers have been recharging. So, damned if you do, and it feels like damned if you don't. Still, though, Reynor still has so much money. There are 8 orbital commands, 7 planetary fortresses. There are more CCs than a poorly formatted corporate email chain right now. Raven is taken down. The Cyclones would be pretty good. But the Battlecruisers were just hanging out in Reynor's former main base. He scans, he sees the Infestors. I'm lost. And Reynor's looking there too, like... The scans mean that he always sees it. Maru's playing this perfectly. This is like the platonic ideal of Battlecruiser Terran. Every Bronze League hero should be looking at Maru right now. and wondering why he doesn't use those mules to mine some of Reynor's mineral. Well, Reynor has 6,000 mineral. Well, he turns the locks with the neural parasite. 9 more infestors on the way. The Battlecruisers are over halfway to another tactical jump, and they have Yamato Cannon online. They are committing to Yamato cannoning from infinite distance, but Reynor has been maxed out for like 15 minutes. Yet, how many buildings? He's killed 8 missile turrets and 2 sensor towers. Reynor has killed as many missile turrets as Maru has killed hatcheries. And, of course, the entire tech tree. And the Battlecruisers, he just scans the infestors. There's literally no hiding. I mean, he hasn't been able to neural parasite a single battlecruiser throughout this game. And even if he does, the best case scenario is like the thing. Maru's just doing it right. He just keeps he literally has 10 orbital commands. He can just keep scanning. There's nothing stopping him. The only thing that would stop him is actually killing the orbital commands, but you're gonna go through multiple planetaries? I don't know. I'm editorializing, but it feels like as soon as the... Oh! A Fongo, he caught 2! The Yamato cannons, but the Yamatos still go off. Meanwhile... well... So, Maru... Reynor gives him the full Italian GG. Reynor catches a few battlecruisers. And, Maru... Well... I think Reynor was looking to see if he could ever win a fight. But... 629 to 190 units lost. Wow. That was more one-sided than a Mobius strip. That was that was a comprehensive beatdown. That was a tutorial right there. But, like, Reynor clearly... I'm sure we'll see a lot of opinions on how to deal with that, or what he should have done. But it truly feels like if Maru doesn't shut down the battlecruisers almost before they start, then what? Game 1's over. Alright, now we're on Kill Switch. This is from the Revival Starleague. From Tasteless & Co. in Korea. And this is to determine who makes it through the playoffs. So, a decent chunk on the line here. This isn't just some fun show match. This is one of the biggest tournaments of the second half of the year after the World Cup. And not on the new patch, if you happen to be watching this while the new patch drama is happening. Though, I'm not sure how much the new patch, as it's proposed so far, would affect it. And also, it's changing quickly, so I'm not going to speculate. Wow. Battlecruiser is not just looking good, but looking unstoppable. The tactical jump, the Yamato cannon almost irrelevant compared to the utility of the tactical jump. Once you get, it takes 5 orbital commands in order to always have a scan at all times. If you just scan one after another. That's with no mules, no nothing else. 10 orbital commands, and you can just constantly lay one down on the infestors. And yes, maybe Raider could have hit a couple infestors, like, off to the corner or something. But if you don't have enough infestors to neural parasite or fungal a critical mass of the battlecruisers, does it matter? Well, is that another command? What? Okay, I'm sorry. I was living in the past. Here we are, though, in Game 2, where Maru has gone for yet another command center first. Absolutely no shame. If it ain't broke, you don't need to repair it. I don't think Reynor will let... For better or worse, I don't think Reynor will just macro it out. Again. That... It wasn't easy. Maru was very active at the site. It's because he got so much done. Despite Reynor seeing the mech early on, he couldn't do much because Hell clones are notorious for being difficult to pin down. If you go for Infestors and Hive, you're not going to have the standing army to chase them down across the map unless they make a big mistake, and Maru never did. So, literally, the entire army composition is perfect for running away at the last second. Like, it's equipped with some sort of plot device. And I'm not talking about Tasteless or his brother. It's okay. I was like, Maru, the strategical mastermind, is breaking out this crazy build in Game 1. And now Maru, the strategical mastermind, is refining that same build in Game 2. It's the same thing. Roach 1 at 340. It's a similar timing. Reynor actually hard walling. The problem is he did open up the mineral wall to the third here on Kill Switch. We've got a lot of mineral walls to work with. The queens. Get off my creep! Brenda, we barely have any creep. And yes, we're working on it. What's important is we have goals. Goals didn't get us very far against the Battlecruisers, did they? No. One warning. Namaste. Sorry, I am blacked out. Double NG Bay. So Maru is showing a near identity. He's even building the Raven. Wow. He's showing a near identical build. But he made a mistake. He didn't account for the Overlord. The Overlord will spot the second barracks is the most important thing here. Seeing that is absolutely critical. He knows now this is bio. This is not going to be Hell Clones, or it would be the most convoluted Hell Clone build ever. That is huge for Reynor. That Overlord waving its tentacles around and spotting those extra barracks. So this time, well, Maru trying to... This is the difference, is shifting into bio instead of mech. The Raven out at the front as well. But just a few sloaches. An infestation pit. That is obscenely fast. She was a banshee. He was a gas blob with tentacles. This is not something I can show on YouTube. Check out my Dronely fans for more. Like and subscribe. Infestation pit at the third base as well. I guess it is way further back with the map layout. We have an interesting map layout. As community tournaments finally embracing slightly different maps so we don't see a reskin of the same two over and over. Hive at 6. That is... Wow. Getting a mass spore perimeter in the main to help zone out medevacs. Maru has built the wall to keep the Zerg out. Is that a fourth command? Maru! Of course. The rush distance is... Well... Once you get down to it, there are the bubulas, or the W-las, sorry. The slow zones down the center. Like a permanent time warp. to kind of muck things up, though. I think you can destroy them if you take the rocks down. Which is, there's a lot of map features here you can use and abuse. Single infestor on the way. This is going to be ultras, right? Hive is done. He's already moving the drone, and Ultraless Cavern is on the way. Reynor with the ultra fast ultra rush. About as quick as you could ever get. Meanwhile, Maru has just sat back. He's gonna build up. He has 76. Another kind of full-on macro game. As both players have gone up to near 80 workers. Almost untouched. Maru with a couple attempts, but rebuffed quickly. The double drop, but Reynor has already put up the spore perimeter. The sporimeter, if you would. I wouldn't. Sounds weird, but, you know, I'm not here to judge. Also not true. But... 2 more command centers on the way because Maru, the scan, spots the Ultraless Cavern already completed. Chitinous plating is on the way. Scan, knocks out the creep. Gonna go straight for the hatchery. Target fire forces the cancel, but takes out the Marines with no survivors. And back at home. Not too far away, but back at home, Maru. Bit more of a bio-curious composition, going into mass siege tank Whittle Mine with a bunch of Marauders mixed in. Trying to set himself up. Does not have a Ghost Academy nor Liberators on the way. Which means... Oh, okay, 1 Liberator on the way. Technically not. But doesn't have the direct counters to Ultras. Though Marauders and Siege Tanks do pretty well for themselves. They're much more vulnerable to being out of position or picked apart by Vipers and Infestors. The Marines clearing the creep despite the dozens of Zerglings nearby. Maru is... there's that back pocket base that both players have taken. Maru is nearly maxed out. Reynor's been there for a while. 21 Banelings in production. The rocks creating quite a choke point. A single siege tank to hold it down. The geography right now, more like geology, is making, it's both, but is making things a little difficult for Reynor to even consider engaging. He didn't take down the rocks on either side. Maru spreading down the center. The Marauders, the Marines, the Medevacs, mines underneath. But Reynor is setting up for a potentially near 360-degree surround. The Ultras eating the Whittle Mines. The Banelings don't have speed, but do they need it? Well, the Ultras starting to chew their way through. Does not have Ultra speed, does not have Baneling speed. And now his units aren't going to be very fast at all from the Units Lost tab. No creep, no speed, no service. Maru, I think, actually takes a victory in that fight. Yeah, in terms of units lost and just general momentum. Takes out the majority of the important units and is able to continue forward with a parade of Marines, Marauders, and Mines on the way. Still no ultra speed for Reynor. Relatively easy to overlook, but very important not to. Command center going to be forced to be lifted. Still 6 medevacs, I was wondering. So many of his Marines and Marauders already bruised. The minefield. And the Zerglings trickling through. We'll grab a few more units. Gonna try to get on top of the tank, I guess. They do a lot of damage. That repair, though, what a save.
What a save!
So many command centers, and Reynor's starting to lock... I mean, Maru's starting to lock things down. Reynor still has plenty of Ultras to contend with. Parasitic Bomb. Whittle Mine's trying to drag out onto the Zerglings, but taken out too early. Anti-armor missile negates the chitinous plating. Zergling counter, though. Maru struggling to get that 12 o'clock base up. Both players damaging the hatchery down the center. Marauders go flying. Widow Mines mostly dragged out. The Zerglings starting to find a little more success at the back. Widow Mines having to clean them up, though. Ultralisk obliterated. The choke points between the rocks and a hard place for the Ultras. Corruptors on the way. Greater Spire as well. Is he going to go Broodlords to counter Widow Mines? I mean, desperate times. Not a bad choice, though. As the Broodlings can draw out the Widow Mines like any other unit. Parasitic Bomb. Still no hint of Ghost. No Ghost Academy whatsoever. Maru with 10 barracks, 3 factories, a single starport. Trying to work his way past the Widow Minefield. Doing terrible, terrible damage across the board. But the Zerglings keep slipping in. Will finally take out that tank on the high ground. Forces some of the units back. But Maru is still mining from most of his bases. Even the main base isn't mined out. We're only 13 minutes in. 5 Broodlords on the way. Just a few Broodlords scattered in to take out the mines. The Ultras cuddle on the left side. One obliterated by the mines. The Ultras trundling down the ramp. Ultra speed is done. The Marauders doing a lot of damage to the hatchery. Targets it down, picks up with what he has left. The Broodlord's going to help out a lot. But 5 starports on the way. Oh my god. Well, taking this very seriously. This is like a Wings of Liberty game. The Broodlords raining down, helping to clear out the mines. There's really no anti-air at all. The Vikings in production, but the Broodlords driving everything back. Dragging out the Widow Mine hits. It will slow down. The slow zones will slow the Broodlords as well. But it seems the choice, the Lord of the Brutes. Reynor holds the line and finally drives things back. There's 7 Vikings at a time, but there's already Corruptors. And the Broodlords will more than negate the siege tanks and mines. The Corruptors driving back the first Vikings. The siege tank's a liability now with the Broodlings coating the field. The friendly fire isn't. Targets down another tank. Ultras cleaving through into the mineral line. The SCVs will be cloven in twain. And the full spread of Zerg is driving things back for now. Takes out one of the bases. A planetary fortress is being cut up by the Ultras. The Corruptors starting to zone things out. Parasitic Bomb quarantines the medevac. The Bile Ball in the ramp is still so thick. Marauder Viking as the composition. Looks like there was 1 infester. Meanwhile, the Ultras just chewing through the northern base. And Reynor still has enough economy to rebuild. Looks like not quite enough for another fungal, and the infester is popped like an overripe eggplant. The Broodlord slowly but surely being taken down. The Corruptors as well. It's a bloodbath, a massacre on the ramp. The field runs red with the blood of both sides. But I think more Zerg. Maru, though, gonna lose another planetary. That one SCV trying its best. The command centers are all over the place, though. Another fusion core is on the way. Though I think for advanced ballistics or Caduce, you know what? Anything's good at this point. What a bloodbath from both sides. Maru holding on, though, and Reynor unable to overwhelm the army. The critical mass of Bio is just tearing through everything in its path. And this hatchery dies for the umpteenth. Jimmy, edit that out. That hatchery is saved for the first time. The Banelings and Ultras crash through. Reynor has torn down the wall, but the Widow Mine will clear up the Zerglings. And still, it's anyone's game. Maru has stabilized, but Reynor still has, well, is it enough economy? Holding on to that base to the north. Neither side has taken the outlying bases past the massive mineral wall in the main. Technically, you can get there from the main. A Scandinavia of Vikings right now out of Maru. There's so much. But Vikings not known for their effectiveness against mass Ultras or Zerglings. Really just an awkward amount of Vikings. Honestly, Maru needs to think about maybe even getting rid of them. As What is their purpose at this point? They were here. Oh. Ultras, Lings, and Banes. A lull in the action for a moment. One of the most hectic games I have ever seen. Over 50,000 resources lost in just 17 minutes. The Widowmine still dotting the field, but 38 Banes, 8 Ultras leading the charge. No Ghost to match them. Widowmine's hitting across the board, a huge hit on a whole lot of the Banelings. But the... he takes down the Corruptors. A fungal on all of the Vikings. The Ultras just chewing their way through the barracks, through the production. The Liberators will be mostly uncontested. There's no Neural Parasite. The Liberators might save the day. But Reynor has gutted the outlying economy. A Venn diagram of freedom. The Fungals, the Vikings! What in the heart of the Swarm cinematic am I watching? Vikings hit the deck to counter the Ultralists. And they will successfully do so, but the Orbital Command will burn, just like Maru's chances of turning this game around. Reynor continues bashing down the door, and the battering ram of Zerg seems to be more than enough. GG! Reynor ties things up 1-1. $500 Zerglings, 100 Marines. The back and forth throughout the field. Maru left with dozens of Vikings. A severe overcompensation to the Broodlords. Just a sprinkling, a seasoning of Broodlords to sprinkle their Broodlings across the mines and the tanks and turn the fight around was absolutely what Reynor needed. An incredible choice, though a difficult one, as that's a huge investment for a relatively small amount of units. But Reynor clearly now broken by the difficult game one. A thin line. What was that? Is he 12 pooling? We're on Botanical. So Maru has gone Command Center first for 2 games in a row. Botanical, one of the community maps in this tournament. Not that, I don't think it has any particular feature that makes a 12 pool good. But you know what makes 12 pool good? When your opponent keeps going Command Center first. I think Maru is actually going for a barracks this time. If he goes 2 racks, then he may just win the game. If he's able to wall this off. So, Reynor, it took a couple games, but now, Maru, a absolute grand masterclass bait. 2 Command Center first, and now Reynor's like, okay, I got you figured out. This is not a wall, but by the time the Zerglings arrive, I think it will be. Now place your bets. Does Reynor GG immediately? Or, well, So, unfortunately, the Overlord, looks like this is quite a distance for the Overlord. The Overlord will not be across the map by the time the Zerglings get here. What is this pathing? Crazy. This looks like a Brood War map. The Reaper will be out seconds after the Zerglings show up. Oh, it's not a wall. But the real point is it's not a CC first either. So, well, if he loses the Reaper, Maru loses the game. But if he doesn't lose the Reaper, he's probably fine, if not way ahead. There's more Reapers on the way. So this could be a blessing in disguise with this hero-style wall. Has the SCVs. Great micro. Yeah, Command Center on the way. Yeah, Maru just... Awkward. There's not much else to be done here. This is gonna make life difficult, or just very short, I guess. The Overlord will die. He's gonna get vision no matter, like, he doesn't even need it. Well. Susan, I got a bad feeling about this. Brenda, that's because when Zerg gambles, they don't have mules. We have to sit here injecting the hatcheries. Now I don't have any energy. Look how I'm so tired. I just want to go back to bed. Oh, Susan. I don't... Am I Susan? Are you Susan? See, I can't even remember. Well, the Queen's getting bullied. Reynor now with slightly more drones. Gonna try for a third. The creep is gonna be sliced out. And for the oncologist. And Maru is following it up with a bunch of Marines with stim. There will not be Zergling speed. There will not be roaches. There are 2 queens who will not have energy. So... it's not good. As the Brenda bounces over to the side. Careless, insubordinate. I don't... You got one. There is no Overlord on the other side of the map to spot for this. In fact, Reynor just rebuilt Lings. He's getting great. I mean, this is all you can do. You get super greedy, hope you can kind of turn the corner on the timing, and if you survive, then you're still in it. If.
He's dead, Jim.
I will eat a shoe if Reynor survives this. Any type of shoe. I'll let you two vote. All right. Well, that was a safe bet. GG. Maru goes to match point. I mean, he gambled. And even though, so that was a gamble that he goes CC first. Literally anything else, it's a failure. But, yeah. Maru 2-1. Not much else to say about that, so I'll stop. And move on to Cenotaph. Another community map. We will see. Reynor with the extractor trick to get a quicker hatchery out. This map has a healing shrine, a watchtower in the center that can be destroyed by destructible rock towers. So, if it comes to that. Also, some interesting layout. Maru. Oh, Maru. Wow. Maru with the command center first. Now, here's the curious thing. Is that Reynor has gone for a gas pool build, which is not as all in, but is certainly very capable of dealing... I don't think Maru has SCV scouted this entire series. So this is the next kind of step of it. This has potential. One, Maru has gone CC first. He's not even walling off his ramp. Wow, the hubris. The absolute confidence that Reynor wouldn't try something again. And here's Reynor. Zergling speed is on the way. Oh, this has real potential here. Because once again, Maru not scouting at all. I mean, it's a game of information. Reynor is sick of letting Maru get away with this greed. He didn't even wall the ramp. Like, what is this? Are they stuck? No. He's holding the watchtower. There's a roach one on the way. He literally has one Marine. He's getting a third command center. What is this? There's a little drop-off location for your Marines with their medevacs. There's one Marine. Maybe if he just does like a power stance, he can... Well, Reynor has 6 roaches on the way. Which is a GG of roaches. Yeah, this is... After 2 absolutely incredible, for very different reasons, but back and forth slugfests, it appears we're gonna get 2 bops. Alright. Maru goes 3 CC with no starport into double engineering bay. Are you with no scout and no wall? This is suicidal. The Zerglings will get in. Wait, does the Zergling out-heal the Hellions? This is absolutely, like... So 2 roaches, okay. But how about 5 roaches and a Ravager? This is just obscene greed. And this time around, he will be punished for it. He didn't even try a Banshee. I feel like Maru... Yeah, like, what can I get away with? Apparently not this. No, he's super dead. Game over, man. Game over. Okay, game 5 it is. Not exactly how I expected to get there, but... Here we are now. That wasn't just greedy. That was absolute malpractice. No scout, 3 CC, double engineering bay, no starport, blind Hellions, and no wall. You could not have been less prepared for a roach all-in. Almost if you tried. Anyways, here we are. Just put that all out of your mind as we go back into our standard map pool. I feel like pro players, despite even high-profile tournaments, oftentimes having a bit of a different map pool, many players are just like, how can I either do a standard build and shoehorn it into this map, or just an all-out cheese? And we see that very much here. A pool first out of Reynor. But this time around, it's going to be, all right, and now it all comes together. For game number 5, a 2 racks, very likely Reaper build, up against what could be a Roach all-in. And this is a much more malleable situation. This is... There's options on both sides. Reynor's gonna have the jump because the Overlord will scout at all. But it is by no means a guarantee that he's gonna come out ahead. 2 Reapers on the way. Again, Maru, no scout. The question is what Reynor does when he sees this. So he sees the 2 Rex. He can't see the little indicator that it's Reapers, but he can see the Reapers. Okay. Yeah, why? Sorry. The roach horn is on the way. The Reaper will see the hatchery timing. He'll know that's not a hatch first. More Reapers on the way. Barracks number 3 and 4 in the main. Reynor looks to be committed. The roach warren is nearly complete. So it's all gonna come down to this. One last all in. For both sides, really. But Reynor more so. As we mentioned at the very start, the cost of Zerg going all in is everything. Reynor with 19 drones. Maru's on the wrong side of the map for the add-ons, which is the left one, where the add-ons are exposed and easily taken out. In fact, he might do so even before the Reapers are back at home, making it a little bit easier for the follow-up to get damage done. The roaches are coming across. Stim will be denied. You get your money back, but obviously he's going to have to rebuild somehow. Did Maru spot the roach warren? He did not, though he may have his suspicions. He can't go out too far with the Zergling speed there. Ravager's on the way. Reynor is droning behind this. Stim has to restart. The add-on's rebuilding. A single Ravager. He's gonna try to bait him. He knows the Zerglings are out there. And sticking out like a sore reactor there. Mr. Zergachev, tear down this wall. And Reynor, gets a couple SCVs with it. And he's been droning behind the SCVs, the Zerglings. He's gonna force the barracks. There's no way to stop it without committing. He's gonna get concussive shells. Has to drop the supply depot. The grenades thrown out. The barracks might actually be taken up by corrosive ball. The base is wide open. There's not that many Zerglings behind, but Maru doesn't know that. Cancels the bunker, slaps it back down on the corrosive bile cooldown. No stim, but there is concussive. And Reynor, he just has a dozen or so lings. He's getting a third behind. He's macroing it out effectively. Another wave of corrosive bile actually knocks out the barracks. But the scan, he actually commits a scan and sees Reynor's drone count. Which, the Overlord! Yeah. He commits a scan to kill the Overlord. Maru now in a very uncomfortable position, but Reynor does not have a booming economy. If he commits to mass Zergling and Maru just doesn't really move out, there's a chance that they effectively have an expiration date. When you build units as Zerg, oftentimes you want to use them as quickly as possible, because otherwise they could have been drones. So, Maru, just mass barracks. Not a factory. Obviously not a starport. Just more racks. He's all in. Stim, combat shit, he has concussive shells. Reynor, the Zerglings on the field. 45 of them. A bit of the bio out there. He's baiting. He's trying to lure Reynor in. He hasn't yet shown all of his bio. But Reynor has just been building Zerglings. Unfortunately for Maru, by the time his army comes across the map, I fear the Zerg army will be already operational. He's not going to have +1 carapace done but he's going to have 60 plus Zerglings. He's going to have plenty of Ravagers. The boys are coming across the map. Everything is on the line. The Zergling counterattack. There's no wall. There's barely any workers. The scan. It's do or die. Reynor committed some of his units. Oh, he wades through the corrosive bile. They're getting big hits in the center mass. He needs to use the stims while he has it, though. More Ravagers. The SCVs tank a whole lot of the Zerglings. The Terran army is grinding through, but he can't go back. He must go forward. Once more into the breach. Can he get enough damage done? The Ravagers are thinning out, but the bio crumbles. Reynor is victorious. 3-2. Wow, we really, this series slid downwards from the most macro game to almost the least. After 2 games of back and forth brawling, they just start shivving one another. Wow. What a roller coaster we just went on there. Hopefully you enjoyed as much as I did. Thank you for watching. I hope it made your day a little bit better. And if you got the beans and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So thank you to the RSL. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jig, Devin, Dor, Kate, Mario, and Soup. Glad you still enjoyed, everyone. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay tuned.